6:15, this is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The news edited by Lakshman Fonseca and read by Lavani Vijayatunga. First, we take a look at the headlines. The President's media says that media organizations should communicate the efforts made by the President to make the pledges given in his policy statement a reality correctly to the public. A special security sticker introduced for locally produced liquor. The Health Ministry issues a set of updated health guidelines. The government plans to direct 300,000 Sri Lankans for foreign employment for the year 2022. A state-owned corporation will be shortly introduced to import LP gas. More ecotourism zones to be developed soon. And in news overseas, UN says next meal a matter of faith for struggling Afghan families. Those were the headlines, and now more to the details of the local news. President's media spokesman Kingsley Ratnayaka says media organizations should communicate correctly to the public on the efforts made by the President to make the pledges given in his Vistas of Prosperity policy statement a reality. He pointed out the need to create a positive mindset in the general public about the country's development and future path by the media organizations. He recalled that President gave instructions to reveal the frauds and corruption during the discussions with heads of media institutions last year. The Excise Department has taken measures to introduce a special security sticker for locally produced liquor. The Commissioner General of Excise, Kapila Kumarasinghe, states it is introduced to prevent the entry of illicit liquor and to block the entry of illegally imported liquor into the local market. He says the system will also help to collect the relevant taxes due from all local and foreign liquors sold in Sri Lanka. The security sticker will be affixed on every bottle of liquor manufactured locally from 3rd of January, Commissioner of Excise added. He said that the stock of unlabeled liquor in the market need to be depleted before the arrival of the liquor with the security stickers, and a period of 3 months will be given to empty the stock. The official said he expects that this safety sticker on all liquor stocks sold in the entire island-wide markets will be effective from the first day of April 2020. Health Ministry has issued a set of updated health guidelines to be followed by the general public from today to the 31st of this month. The ministry said the public gatherings still require the prior approval from Director General of Health Services according to the updated guidelines. Director General of Health Services, being the proper authority, emphasized that contributing to the control of COVID-19 is the responsibility of every citizen as well as every government, non-governmental and private institutions. He said tuition classes are permitted to be conducted for grade 5 and above 50% of the usual capacity. Other guidelines remain unchanged, he added. The government has planned to direct 300,000 Sri Lankans for foreign employment this year. The government has provided 250 million rupees for the welfare activities of the overseas employees during the year 2021. The State Ministry of Foreign Employment Promotion said 125,000 people have registered at the Foreign Employment Bureau last year. It added around 120,000 Sri Lankans have left Sri Lanka last year seeking foreign employment. This is a news from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.
Sri Lanka Insurance Motor Plus, the best option.
And we continue with more local news. A state-owned corporation will be shortly introduced to import LP gas. State Minister Dilum Amunugama said the corporation will be administered under the Ministry of Trade. He added that there is an oligopoly in the trade of LP gas as there are only 2 companies involved in the trade today. In order to break the long-lasting trade monopoly, and it is a must that at least 5 other companies to be set into the LP gas trade, the State Minister added. Recognized ecotourism zones are to be developed shortly. Secretary to the Ministry of Environment, Dr. Anil Jaisinghe said 3 such zones have already been identified and steps have been taken to promote the zones within the new year. Development program will be launched as a joint venture with the Ministry of Tourism and the Ministry of Environment, Dr. Jayasinghe added. In line with the development programs, a program is also launched to rebuild the mangrove environment in the coastal belt. He said the coastal belt is largely threatened by coastal pollution, unethical fishing practices and climate change. The Ministry of Health said another 231 individuals infected with COVID-19 have been discharged from the hospitals today. It said the total number of recoveries reported in the country is 560,725 today. Sri Lanka confirmed as many as 587,245 COVID-19 infections since the outbreak of the pandemic last year. Health Ministry said more than 11,500 virus-infected patients in total are currently under medical care. Meanwhile, Director of the National Dengue Control Unit, Dr. Sudat Samaravira said the number of dengue patients has doubled in the last 2 months of November and December. He said the number of dengue deaths in the year 2021 has decreased. The risk of dengue has increased in about 15 districts. He instructs that every public institution should prepare an annual dengue control plan with the opening of the offices and schools as usual in the new year. Since the household hygiene is important to combat this condition, it should be a daily routine to find and clean dengue breeding grounds and destroy mosquito larvae, he added. And to conclude the local news, the headlines once again. President's Media Unit says the media organizations should communicate the efforts made by the President to make the pledges given in his policy statement a reality correctly to the public. A special security sticker to be introduced for locally produced liquor. The Health Ministry issues a set of updated health guidelines. The government plans to direct 300,000 Sri Lankans for foreign employment for the year 2022. A state-owned corporation will be shortly introduced to import LP gas. More ecotourism zones to be developed soon. And that was the local news.
In 200 meters, turn left.
This is not just my daily commute. I drive to power my nation's future.
Sri Lanka Insurance Motor Plus introduces specialized motor insurance for you who drive our nation forward. Choose tailor-made insurance solutions, up to 75,000 rupees claim settlements within 3 working hours, exclusive discounts through Motor Plus loyalty rewards, easy and 0% interest payment plans.
Only from Sri Lanka Insurance.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
The main news story for this evening, the Mahanayaka Theras of the Askiriya and Malwatu chapters say the new year is challenging with a lot of issues to be settled. The Mahanayaka of the Askiriya chapter, Venerable Varakagoda Jnanaratana Thera, said that all Sri Lankans should work collectively to achieve the goals of the island in this crucial juncture. Anunayaka of the Malwata chapter, Venerable Dibulkumure Sri Vimaladhamma Thera, said that it is the duty of all citizens to work together to rebuild the country from the present situation caused by the pandemic. And that was the main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
And in Washla this evening, the minimum age for purchasing cigarettes will be increased to 24 from today. Chairman of the National Authority on Tobacco and Alcohol, Dr. Samadhi Rajapaksa, told the media that they had decided to amend the National Authority on Tobacco and Alcohol Act in the year 2022. Dr. Rajapaksa also said that they had removed all the advertisements related to tobacco products circulating on the internet, including social media. The comprehensive law includes measures relating to restrictions on smoking in public places, packaging and labeling requirements and advertising. And that came to you in the segment of Watchlight. And now we move on to the headlines of the world news. UN says next meal a matter of faith for struggling Afghan families. Australia starts the year 2022 with record COVID cases. Anti-apartheid hero Desmond Tutu laid to rest at state funeral in South Africa. Those are the headlines, and now move on to the details of the world news. The United Nations estimates about 55% of the Afghan population is facing extreme level of hunger, with nearly 9 million at risk of famine as winter takes hold. UN says life for Afghanistan's poor has always been hard and it is getting worse. Vegetables such as cauliflower are out of reach and plastic sheets protect their home from freezing weather and snow. Taliban officials say that they are aware of the problem faced by the poor. They say the issue is a result of more than 4 decades of conflict and mismanagement under the previous government. They have also repeatedly called on Washington to unblock about $9 billion in central bank assets. Australia started the year 2022 with a record number of new COVID-19 cases. New South Wales has eased its isolation rules for the healthcare workers, but the number of people hospitalized with virus rose. New South Wales, the most populous state, and Victoria both posted daily record cases number of 22,577 and 7,442 respectively today. Today, the 1st of January had already set a national record of 33,161 cases, topping Friday's 32,946. All Australian states, except for Western Australia, have begun to live with the virus after higher vaccination levels, and the easing in restrictions has pushed the cases higher. Bishop Desmond Tutu's family and friends gathered for his state funeral on New Year's Day in Cape Town, capping a weeks of event honouring a man long considered the moral compass of South Africa. Tutu died last Sunday at the age of 90. He had been in poor health for several years. South African President Cyril Ramaphosa was expected to deliver the main eulogy, and Cape Town Archbishop Thabo Makgoba was presiding over the service at St. George's Cathedral on Saturday. Tutu's body will be cremated in a private ceremony after the service mass and then will be interred behind the pulpit at the cathedral. And to conclude the world news, the headlines once again. UN says next meal a matter of faith for struggling Afghan families. Australia starts the year 2022 with a record COVID cases. Anti-apartheid hero Desmond Tutu laid to rest at state funeral in South Africa. And that was the world news.
Development News is brought to you by Let's take all out of the coconut tree and make the island thriving and prosperous. Call our hotline 1928. WhatsApp 070 400 1928.
And in development news, exports of rubber, coconut and cinnamon have generated a revenue of 800 billion rupees last year. The Minister of Plantation Industries, Dr. Ramesh Pathirana, said that this was the highest export earnings in the history of the country at a ceremony held at Apegama premises in Battaramulla recently. The minister also said that during the year, tea production was 305 million kilograms. And that was the development news.
Development News was brought to you by the coconut tree is well grown in almost all the parts of the island. It is an exceptional source of extra income. The shell, the husk and almost all the parts of the coconut tree makes you money, providing you with an excellent extra source of income. It will also help to nourish the economy of the country. You will be guided with all necessary informations regarding the coconut cultivation, with the novel cultivation techniques and all other related and upgraded informations by the Coconut Research Institute, Lunavilla. Call our hotline 1928. WhatsApp 070 400 1928.
Moving on to sports news, Australian batsman Travis Head will be unavailable for the 4th Ashes test after testing positive for COVID-19. Australia's leading run scorer after 3 tests must stay in Melbourne and isolate for 7 days. Both the English and the Australian squads are due to travel to Sydney on Friday, with penultimate test starting at the SCG on the 5th of January. Head is the first player to test positive during the series, following multiple positives among the support staff. England's men's head coach Chris Silverwood will also miss the fourth test after being forced to isolate for 10 days after a family member in the English camp tested positive. There have been 7 cases in total among the England's touring party so far, including 3 support staff and 4 family members. Former English all-rounder Adam Hilcock has been drafted into the coaching team for Sydney Test. Head has scored 248 runs in the first 3 tests at an average of 62, including a knock of 152 in the series opener in Brisbane. The 28-year-old is asymptomatic, and Cricket Australia says it expects to have him available for the final test in Hobart. That was the sports news. Business news coming up.
Cash through NSP globally and win wonderful gifts locally. From October 1st, 2021 to December 31st, 2022. Remit a minimum of $100 or an equivalent amount in any foreign currency 3 times through NSB U Trust.
Business news sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
In business news, the Secretary General of Joint Apparel Association Forum, Tioli Kure, says that all members should ensure their employees' COVID-19 vaccination is saved in digital format and present them as a proof of vaccination whenever required. He said the digital format has been necessitated to avoid loss of any piece of vital information of the vaccinated employee due to card being defaced or damaged due to frequent use, or to use the virtual card as a backup in case of the card reported missing. That was the business news. Economic news follows.
Business news sponsored by
Cash through NSP globally and win wonderful gifts locally. Will you be the lucky winner of the NSP Golden Jubilee? 50 gold sovereigns for the top prize winner of the NSP Golden Jubilee. Scooters for the 10 second prize winners. iPhones for the 10 third prize winners. Mountain bikes for the 29 fourth prize winners. From October 1st, 2021 to December 31st, 2022. Remit a minimum of $100 or an equivalent amount in any foreign currency 3 times through NSB U Trust.
Economic news, courtesy of
Saving money isn't easy when you have responsibility. That's why we promise to give you the best returns and guarantee on your investment. LOLC Finance Fixed Deposits. Maximize your savings. LOLC Finance PLC, incorporated on the 13th of December 2001, is rated SLA stable by ICRA Lanka Limited and is licensed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under the Finance Business Act number 42 of 2011.
And in economic news, the central bank yesterday issued a fresh set of instructions to be followed by the licensed commercial banks and the National Savings Bank when determining the minimum interest rate on foreign currency denominated deposits effective from yesterday. According to the guidelines, banks are required to offer a maximum of 5% or an average of 1-year treasury bill yield determined at the auctions during the last calendar month of the previous quarter, less 150 basis points for deposits carrying maturity of 1 year or below. That was the economic news and the weather report to conclude.
I bought my daughter a laptop for her work by managing my finances. Whatever the expenses may be, I can't afford to miss out on life's special moments like her birthday or our anniversary. So you need to invest to make your family's future flourish.
Saving money isn't easy when you have responsibilities. That's why we promise to give you the best returns on your investment. LOLC Finance Fixed Deposits. Maximize your savings. LOLC Finance PLC, incorporated on the 13th of December 2001, is rated SLA stable by ICRA Lanka Limited and is licensed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under the Finance Business Act number 42 of 2011.
And finally, the weather report. The Met Department said several spells of showers will occur in the northern, north central, eastern and Nuwa provinces and in the Mathale, Nuwara Eliya and Hambantota districts. Showers or thunder showers will occur at several places in the western and Sabaragamu provinces and in the Gaul and Mathura districts during the evening or night. Fairly strong gusty winds of about 40 km per hour is expected over the northern and north central provinces and in the Hambantota district. The sea areas off the coast extending from Mannar to Negombo via Puttalam and Mathura to Pothuwil via Hambantota can be fairly rough at times. The other sea areas around the island may be moderate at times. Temporary strong gusty winds and rough seas can be expected during thunder showers, the department added. And before we conclude this bulletin of news, let's get back to the headlines once again. The president's media says that all media organizations should communicate the efforts made by the president to make the pledges given in his policy statement a reality correctly to the public. A special security sticker introduced for locally produced liquor. The Health Ministry issues a set of updated health guidelines. The government plans to direct 300,000 Sri Lankans for foreign employment for the year 2022. A state-owned corporation will be introduced shortly to import LP gas. More ecotourism zones to be developed soon. And in news overseas, UN says next meal a matter of faith for struggling Afghan families. And with that, we conclude this bulletin of news. Before I hand over to our Saturday evening host, my friend Mario, on the other side of the glass panel, let me wish all our dear lovely listeners out there all the very best for the year 2022. May it be a year free of trouble and a year that brings happiness and prosperity. And Mario, over to you. Happy New Year.